12 and
My name is Tori. I am 15 years old and I am from Saskatchewan.
My name is Sylvia. I am 16 years old and I come from Poland.
Hi, I'm Jen. My name is Jen, and I'm 26.
My name is Jenna Alexander Millen. I am 28 years old and I am from Yorkton, Saskatchewan.
What are you affected by?
ADHD.
How does the word mental illness make you feel?
Stupid.
Somewhat disappointed.
And to be honest, it makes me feel very sad and miserable.
Have you ever heard the words mental illness before?
No.
What do you think it means?
That you have problems.
Mental illness, it makes me feel less guilty because it's a sickness instead of something that just went wrong in my brain that somehow makes it my fault. So I feel less guilty about it. So mental illness is probably a better term.
Has it done anything to your self-esteem knowing you have a mental illness?
Yes.
Yes. You always get treated differently by peers if they know about it, and it's not always positive.
Knowing that I have OCD often makes me feel like I'm a freak, I'm a loser, even though I know it's not true.
Dealing with the mental illness affects my self-esteem. Like, I am diagnosed bipolar and manic depressive, and I usually feel more manic than depressive. So dealing with mania on a daily, like even on a smaller scale, like racing thoughts, or I like to call them scatterbrain thoughts, or pacing back and forth, constantly losing things, dealing with that makes me kind of wanna, it makes it easier to hate myself, I would say.
I don't like #OCD. I've looked it up. I've even looked up vines with OCD, and they're ridiculous. They make fun of you because they go around and scrape corners and they're like, OCD, and you're like, that's 1% of OCD. That's not the other 99. You have to live with it every single minute of every single day, and your head is always moving, even in your sleep. And I think that's why we don't sleep very well, because you wake up and you think, did I pay that bill? Did I answer that email? Should I complete this? Is this person waiting up for me? But that's something that we have to live with, is technology. And watching these people and everyone around us make fun of us, it's not fun, because you feel like you're alone already, and then to be almost picked on and joked at, even in the comfort of your own home. When you're sitting in a chair in front of your computer, you can hear people laughing. And nobody's laughing at you. They're just ill-educated about the situation, but you can see people's faces all around.
When did you first start noticing your mental illness?
As soon as I turned 13.
When I was about 14 years old.
Do you remember at what age you got tested for ADHD?
5.
When I was 5, we had a parent-teacher interview. It didn't go very good. What bothers me about OCD is that it affects everyone around you. It affects your job, it affects your friends, it affects your family and your child. My son might not have been born with OCD, but he's going to learn how to probably become somebody with OCD. It will become a learned behavior because of how I live, and that disappoints me. I don't want him to have to obsess over what's wrong with his relationship, or what's wrong with this and that and the other thing, or what's right with this, that, and the other thing. That's a hard way to live, and it affects everyone.
What's the first thing you do in the morning?
Take my meds.
What's the first thing you think about in the morning?
About things I have to do. Everything is scheduled. You have to wake up at a certain time, and I would like some more sleep, though. I don't sleep very good. I usually have on average about 3 to 4 hours of sleep.
I have trouble sleeping now, so I barely wake up. I don't eat much, and I don't do very good in school.
Yes, I sleep very well now that I'm on medication. In a normal manic episode or without medication, no, I don't sleep well. So.
Do you think people treat you differently because you have ADHD?
Sometimes teachers do.
My parents are a bit ashamed of it, but it's okay. And
You know, like there's definitely potential for people to treat you differently, but I don't allow that.
Do you ask for help when you need it, or do you try to figure things out by yourself?
Try to figure things out by myself.
Is it easy for you to seek help?
Nope.
I have a good support system because I made it that way. My husband didn't know anything was wrong with me for a long time because I didn't choose to show him, but I trained him to figure out small signs. I have a good support system, but it took me my whole life to get there. For teenagers with OCD, I think that's very hard because you hear voices in your head. There's the good angel and a bad angel, and you're always wondering, who's talking about me? Who's whispering about me? Is my hair good enough? What's wrong with my skin? That I don't think teenagers have enough places to go.
How does it make you feel when people treat your mental illness as a joke?
It makes me feel like they all hate me because they think that I'm trying to be someone I'm not.
Hurt, angry, and you never have the right words to describe it to somebody else, ever.
It's kind of annoying.
Do you have anxieties?
Yes.
When things don't go my way, I'm very controlling. I have a lot of temper issues.
How has it affected your life?
I'm probably going to drop a whole bunch of classes because I can't fit them in. Or focus.
A lot. Like right now I'm thinking that your light's not on, but it was before.
that has really affected my life, my relationships, my choices, my behavior.
Raising a child is very hard because you read books constantly, other people's statuses constantly. You see what you should be doing, what you have had to do, and if things don't happen that way, then you get disappointed in yourself and also your child, which is very hard on him. I think once you have a mental state of mind that's different from other people, you almost become a little bit more obsessed with the people around you, trying to see, I wonder if this person has this, or if their child might have that, or because you don't want to be alone. It's a lonely world.
Have you ever thought about suicide?
Yes.
I have never attempted suicide, but frankly speaking, I had such thoughts.
Never. Well, I lie. There was a time, but when you have OCD, you try to cover it up with different diversions of, if I can get these germs off, it will make something better. If you can just change a person to your liking, it will get better. I had an alcoholic issue. I would drink a lot when I was 20, and there was one time. But Nick had lived with me for long enough, and he figured it out.
What are some of the misunderstandings about your illness?
I'm not depressed all the time, but most of the time. And people before I had depression, I thought that it was an all-day thing. You wanted to kill yourself every day, and you just wanted to be alone and by yourself. But I find it more comforting when I'm with someone that understands and everything.
But being bipolar, some of the misunderstandings is that you're hot one moment, you're cold the next, like moment to moment. In a manic episode, I would say a little true, but some of the other misunderstandings is that, that being mentally ill is like you're an alien, you're not really like a person, you're something else entirely, that you can't lead a normal life and be mentally ill, that you're completely unstable.
Cleanliness. Everyone always says OCD is just you like a clean house. Well, my house is not always clean, but it's my mess. And I know where everything is. If you ask me for anything in my house, I would know because I tap things 3 times. I don't like how popular it's becoming. It's almost like it's a laughing circumstance. People think, oh, I went super OCD on my house. No, you didn't. Because if you did go super OCD on your house, it would be destroyed, not clean. For mine. Other people do have a lot of clean aspects about them, and that's how they get through their stuff. Mine isn't.
A stereotype that every single person with OCD is a neat, tidy person, afraid of germs, and no, that is not true. I am, for example, not afraid of germs at all, and I'm a quite messy person.
How does it make you feel when someone just uses it in regular conversation?
Oh God, it pisses me off because they could say it and they have no idea what it feels like.
OCD is not just one specific thing. It's not an aspect of your life. Like, if you have to hang up your jacket as soon as you walk in or hang up your keys and tap it 3 times, that is not just one thing. People have preferences, and that's not OCD. It's not. It's just something that you like to do. People like to have clean houses. They like to watch shows at nighttime, and they like to have popcorn with their movie. That's just a preference. That's not an obsession. That's not something that's going in your head that you have to do, or else all hell breaks loose. So I don't like people when they take things lighter. And it's a misconception because people don't know what OCD all entails.
And when I hear someone say, "Oh, I'm so OCD, I clean my room all the time," or I don't know, something like this, it's so annoying. No one has the right to use the word OCD like this, because just shows that they don't treat this disorder seriously, and it's a real problem. It's something very serious.
Why does someone with a mental illness need to have a routine?
Because it soothes them. Like, if you have a routine, you know what you're gonna do, you have like everything planned out, it's fine. But as soon as like something comes up and it's like not, it's out of schedule, then you start getting the anxious feelings and you start getting a little freaked out because your routine's out of whack. And
I sat in my bed recently for almost 2 weeks straight, and I couldn't do what I had to do, and my family didn't know how to do it for me to be to my standard of living, and I grew in a very horrible place in my life. It was not a very friendly 2 weeks, and that I was living in a constant fog, and that wasn't good for me. And I know that without routine and without being able to do my specific things, tapping, washing.
It makes us feel somehow safe. It's just, it's not going to change. It's like a safe zone, a comfort zone.
Normal days, I make lists, a lot of lists, and I have to get those done. My bath routine is very specific. Cleanliness.
Do you think or feel people avoid you because of your mental illness?
Yes, because I don't want to be sad in front of people, so I try to be all happy, and it just gets annoying.
What do you think it's like to live with someone who has a mental disorder for someone who doesn't?
I think it'd be very hard because you have to do certain things differently for them than you normally would have to do for someone else.
Like I think if there's one thing that I would want to take advantage of would be a mentally ill parking spot. Do I want to be treated differently or special? No, I don't. I personally don't want the branded mentally ill above my head like a sign. I don't even click the box, do you have mental illness issues, when it comes to taxes or when it comes to jobs or when it comes to school. I don't
expect it to be treated like someone special. I just want to be respected. I just want people to support me. And I take medication. It's called Acentra. It's a equivalent of Zoloft.
Good old Seroquel. Yeah, I take 600 milligrams of Seroquel.
I'm so tired of all these obstacles in my life. I just can't stand having a mental disorder anymore. When I'm talking about mental illnesses, I feel very passionate because I want to make as many people as possible aware of what mental illnesses really are.